gosh, what is up, my thrifty friends? Tabs here from the Urban Goddess Shop. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I just wanted to hop in and just kind of dip my toes back into making videos. I know it's been a while. I've kind of been on a hiatus, just taking space. I think over the last few months, I feel like one of the last serious videos was where I opened up, talked about my mediumship and what's been going on in my life. Yeah, it's become a pretty big part of it. Well, let's just talk about everything going on. This is going to be a work with me, but it's just going to be kind of just chatting about life, I guess, and just kind of giving you guys a peek into my own personal life, which is always kind of hard to put out here online. But I feel like there's so many people that have been with me on this journey for 3 or 4 years, and I've really stepped back and maybe just not had my normal presence like I have over the years, and I get the message from you guys that you miss seeing me and hear my voice and stuff. And it's just been finding out what I want to do online. That's kind of been something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I know everyone knows this, being on social media just has an impact on your mental health. And I really felt that this year, just the pressure that we put on ourselves to be content creators and to always, increasing views or engagement or subscribers and stuff. And ultimately it's a part of our business, right? Anyone that's doing YouTube, it's a part of your business as well. So I really struggled with it this year, and I've talked kind of openly about this before. As much as I want to say it doesn't matter, I think in my personality, maybe this is the Virgo in me, it drives a certain part inside me. So yeah, trying to figure out what I'm doing with that. I did share this on Instagram as well, but my mom passed away on January 1st. So that was, I've talked about this pretty openly here before. I knew that this was coming. My mom has been terminally ill for probably 4 years that we knew about it, and it was going on for a few years before. She has a disease called MSA, and it's multiple system atrophy, and it's related to Parkinson's. It falls under Parkinson's, and it's very similar. There's some things that are similar to Parkinson's, but basically her body has just been shutting down from the inside for the last 4 years. And I did go down at Christmas, and she was at the point where she is either bed or wheelchair. She was unable to feed herself. That probably happened maybe in fall, and she could still chew, but everything had to be very soft, and her liquids had to be thickened because she would choke and aspirate on them. So her quality of life had really gone down. She couldn't hold a phone anymore. She couldn't go on her iPad. I don't want to cry. I feel like I've shed so many tears, and I know it's natural to cry about this stuff, but her quality of life had changed so much over the last 6 months. And when I went down at Christmas, I knew she was just really tired, and I had told Jeff that I didn't think that she had much more in her because she just had been fighting for so long, and she basically lost everything else in her life, the ability to do everything else. So we were down at Christmas, and she had a really good week between Christmas and New Year's, and her husband had gone, or my stepdad had gone to a New Year's Eve party in the building. They live in a senior complex, and they just had such a good night. He showed me a picture of her there in her wheelchair, and people visiting. He just said she was herself that night. She felt so good. And in the morning when he went to go wake her up, she had passed. So she passed peacefully in her sleep, and I feel on her own terms as well. So that's kind of all we could really ask for, was that she didn't suffer and didn't end up passing away from like secondary like pneumonia, or like there's just so many things. Like, it's really common for these patients to have strokes and then they end up just kind of being like a vegetable for, you know, 5 or 6 months until their body completely shuts down. Like, there's just so many awful ways that they can pass, and this was probably like the best scenario that we could all hope for her. So yeah, that was tough. I left Saskatoon on December 20th to go to Winnipeg, and then I headed out west because that's where we were spending time between Christmas and New Year's. Then we came home on New Year's Eve, and I got the phone call New Year's Day. So I took 2 days to kind of do what I had to do some laundry, get everyone situated at home, and then headed back to Winnipeg on the Wednesday, which I think was like January 3rd, and then kind of like dealt with everything there that you have to deal with when someone passes. And it was just good to be with like my family there and sort through stuff. So there's just been like a lot going on, and like when I like speak it, I can feel it. But like, I felt like this week I was just having a really good week mentally, where I felt like okay and wanting to kind of have a little bit of normalcy in my life. If you have a parent that is terminally ill for multiple years, you probably have gone through similar things where I grieved, you know, over the last 4 years. So I feel like my grief is different right now. And I mean, it's only been like 2 weeks, so not even 2 weeks. So I know it's gonna come in waves, and yeah. So I wanted to share that part because I have talked about that before with her. And I'm just like, trying to keep it all together. So yeah, that's kind of been going on. So here I am. It is January, what's the date today? January 12th. And I did have all these like big goals and things that I was going to start doing in January, like business goals, personal goals, life, everything. I was like, this is the year where last year I felt like I was out of control a lot, especially in the second half of the year. I just felt like I was just a passenger on the train. And I was like, hey, I've kind of sorted out a lot of things that were going on around me and in my life. Now I'm like 2024, it's like take better care of myself, eat better, meal plan, exercise. I want to do some Pilates and yoga, and just like taking better care of myself, drinking more water, drinking less coffee and Diet Pepsi. I'm a Diet Pepsi fiend, usually like 1 to 2 cans a day, which is bad. And like coffee, 1 to 2 cups a day as well. Yeah, so like just like small changes in that part I wanted to start doing. And then I was like, what do I want to do with my reselling business? I definitely, and I'm enjoying where I'm at in that I always say it's the wash, rinse, repeat, but it's kind of like what I've figured out I can source locally, what sells for me, what sells in my closet, and I can pretty consistently source however many items. Actually, if I was doing this full time, I could source probably 20 to 30 items a day and list, but that's not what my goal is. My goal, I think for this year right now, is just 40 items a week to source and list. And that's enough that I'm quite content with the sales. And then I think with my YouTube, I think I'm going to go back to focusing a little bit more on beginner, like people that are just starting out and building some basic processes and my tips and things like that. Not necessarily as much longer form content. I'll also do like the odd thrift haul and try and do like maybe a recap what sold, try and introduce some trends. I know I asked like a couple months ago what videos you guys want, and it's just like looking through those things. A lot of it is like the how-to type stuff, like helping you guys build your business. So I have a few ideas, and I'm trying to give myself grace as well, because I know I just have a lot on my plate. But I think that's where you'll start to see some of my content going. And then, yeah, I also have been doing my mediumship. I should talk about this too, because it is a big part of my life. I just try not to talk about it as much with my reselling, because I know a lot of people, it's just not a topic they're comfortable with, or it goes against their beliefs. And I mean, that's on you. If it goes against your beliefs, that's not on me. I don't have to carry that. But I have kind of avoided talking about it here, but I'm going to talk about it today a little. I did a group reading in December, and I had 10 people join, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was like, oh man, it was so good. Just really good messages came through for people, and it just brought a smile to everyone's face. Like, it was just such a beautiful evening. So yeah, I'm doing another group reading. I have one coming up on January 25th. I think that's in like 2 weeks on a Thursday. I'll drop a link down below. I know it's over half sold out for spots, and it's $22 Canadian, which is probably like 16 bucks US if you want to join. I do have a cap amount that I'll be bringing in, and I'm shooting for around an hour and a half. We might go a little bit over, but I'm shooting for about an hour and a half. And yeah, it's just, I really enjoy that part of my life. I found it like very spiritually fulfilling to help people and to bring closure and peace to people that have lost loved ones. Sometimes it's like funny to like bring smiles to their faces and the stories, and yeah, it's been crazy. So I have clairvoyance, which means I like see visions. I have clairaudience, which I can hear things. They'll like, sometimes I hear names, sometimes it's like phrases. In our group reading, I had a name and then like a phrase that came through. It was actually fun. It was quite comical. He was being a little jokester with his friend. And I get claircognizance, which is like thoughts. I can just like know things. Like, I'll be like, this is your mom, or this is your grandma on your dad's side, or this is your aunt on your mom's side. Like, I most times will get that type of information. I also get clairsentience, which is like feelings, where I can feel emotions and stuff. And I've had smells too come through. So it's pretty crazy. It actually is like pretty crazy. I did my first reading on October 16th, and I think I did my first group reading on December 16th. So within 2 months, I was able to just progress into group readings, which I enjoy because I feel like I'm able to touch more people in their lives and have an impact, and always like very positive, very beautiful moments. So yeah, it's very different, I guess, from my reselling business. And at this point, I enjoy both, and I feel like I can have both in my life. So I will continue to do both. And I mean, if it ever comes to the point where I have to choose one or the other, then I guess I would choose then, but I'm not there yet. I can do both. Also, I've been working the 2 days a week at the hospital too. So yeah, I've had a lot on my plate, and as much as it sounds crazy when I lay it all out here, I've really been laying low. In my business, I just started listing this week, and I haven't listed items in like 4 weeks. Like, and I was not very consistent in November. Just had a lot going on, and I always think like my reselling business will be there. It'll always pick up when I'm ready for it. So it's something that I can easily like put down and pick back up. Also, sales were down. Like, my sell-through rate dropped towards the end of November, beginning of December. And usually when my sell-through rate starts dropping, I will reduce the effort that I put into my business, because otherwise, like, if the buyers aren't showing up to buy things, then I don't want to work twice as hard. Like, I'll just ride it out. These seasons don't last very long, usually like a month to maybe 3 months at the most. It's not my sole income. So I understand that I have a bit of privilege in that way, that I do have other things that I get paid and have a job, right? So I have that luxury to step back from my business. But I struggle with, when in the slow seasons, working twice as hard to try and make those sales, because I just have to be able to ride it out. And then when the high season is, where sales are happening, that's when I will start to pump out more and more listings, because people are buying. It's like feed the beast, you know? That's kind of what my motto has been, I would say, in the last year. 2023 taught me to, when sales are slow, chill, enjoy it. Don't stress myself out. I try not to live week to week or even month to month in my business. I try and look at it as like the whole year. Like, I'm going to have high seasons and low seasons, and in your high seasons, make as much money as you can to prepare for those low seasons. And sometimes that high season stuff, it's not sustainable. We in our head think like, oh, I could do this every month of the year, but it is much harder in certain times of the year. And I mean, there's people that make crazy money all year round that do it full time. It's just not something that I do full time. And I used to think I would resell full time in a couple years when my kids were done school, like when they were adults. But I don't know if reselling is going to become my full-time income. Like, I think I'm still going to split this now between my spiritual mediumship and also my reselling business. And I kind of like the split between the two of them. It gives me a little bit of balance in my life. So yeah, lots going on. I feel like I just had to hop in here and just kind of have a chat with you guys and talk about everything that's been going on. Otherwise, like, we're okay. Everyone's doing okay. I think, just to go back into the grief one more time, I think losing Jeff's mom 2 years ago was like the first time I had really gone through grief and understood it a lot more. And then also now, I think knowing what I know through mediumship, I now know that this, like, it's not the end for my mom. It's just the end of her human life, but she is like always around me in spirit. She's always around us in our family. And I think in a couple months, once I process things more and more, I'll be able to feel her around and pick up the little signs in my life of when she's there. Because we have little signs with Jeff's mom where we're like, we think about her or we'll see something. And I can't wait to have those moments with my mom too. So that's where I'm at. I would love to take this opportunity to talk about like reseller stuff, but I don't even know what's going on. I really have stepped away from like social media consumption. If I go on social media, like Instagram for reseller stuff, I'm looking for funnies. I'm looking for memes. I like catch a couple posts, but I haven't been really reading into like drama stuff or news. I couldn't even tell you what's like new with Poshmark. I've just been doing what works for me. One thing I wanted to chat about, and I'm going to do a video on it. So the creators of Posh Sidekick have a cross-listing application, and I've talked with you guys about this. I've said I'm working on testing, and I feel very comfortable with where the app is to share it with you guys. The new app that I've also been using for my cross-listing and inventory management is Cross-Listing, and I'm going to drop a link down below. But super, super easy they have multiple platforms that they work with. But what I really like is the Posh Canada to Posh US cross-listing. It's like literally import the listings and select Poshmark US and publish. Poshmark US and publish. It has been so seamless. All the fields have been filling out. I love it. That's what I wanted. I wanted cross-listing between Canada and US where it was like one button. It's the exact same thing from the US to Canada. Like the Poshmark interface or like app platform looks the same. It's just a different currency. So yeah, that has been a game changer. And Highly recommend it. They also have an auto delist, which has been great. And I think that's really helpful if you're also cross-listing over to eBay. Oh, I guess another change I should talk about. I actually closed my eBay store on December 31st. So I am still keeping eBay open, but I'm not running the subscription. I'm going to try and just do whatever, 100 listings a month and stay under that store subscription amount. If I'm able to manage adding another platform in, then I will consider switching back to my subscription. But for right now, I just wasn't making enough sales. I wasn't even cross-listing over to there. On top of selling on Poshmark Canada and then Poshmark US and having to do the cross-border courier, which is extra steps, right? I feel like I haven't been able to add on another platform. And with eBay, I would probably do the flat rate shipping that I have set. I think I have it set for like $9.99 Canadian, which is probably like $6.50 USD. When doing that, I also have to go in and create all my shipping labels, and it's just like it's more time and more steps. I haven't really been doing good with the eBay, and we'll see if I end up picking it up. But if it becomes too much again, I might just drop it off and just sell between Poshmark Canada and Posh US. Between those two platforms, I feel like I'm making the sales requirements that I want to see out of my business. It definitely helps selling on in both countries. I will say that if you can make it work, I do have a video out. I will pop it up. This is where I talked about how I sell between both platforms. If you can make it work, I do feel like from the Canadian side, it's definitely worth it. And especially with the exchange rate. Now, I'm not sure if it's as profitable or, like, if it's worth it being a US and selling in Canada. And if you do that and you want to drop down below and share with us, please do. I don't have that experience, but as a Canadian selling in the US, I have an ASP around $50. I usually sell, 1 to 2 items a day. It has been worth it. And I'm shipping from Saskatoon. So I have to courier my items from Saskatoon to Vancouver to Stallion, and then they get them across the border for me. So that's what I'm doing. All right. Well, I feel like that's everything I had to talk about. I am going to have a video coming up, I think, where I'll recap 2023. I don't think it's going to be to the extent of what I have done in the past, but I do want to recap some numbers, and I haven't done my taxes stuff, so the inventory totals and stuff, but I do operate on a 55% net profit typically. So after platform fees and cost of goods, whatever my gross sales are, I am usually netting, and that would be the average of the last 3 years. I net about 55% of that. So it's not bad. I think that's okay. And considering I thrift sell too, I don't have access to bins or really cheap inventory. I'm okay with it. Pretty happy with it. Okay. Lots said. Sorry I have not been here more, and I'm working towards it. I don't think I'll get back to what I was doing, 6 months ago, where I was doing 3 videos a week, but I definitely would like to get back to at minimum 1 video a week. And this break or this hiatus I've been on, it's been good. It's been well needed. I feel a lot better, mentally, for sure. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's not a typical one, but just good to sit down and have some transparency with you guys. And I really appreciate all of your support, all of your comments, all of your kind messages, everything. You guys are my tribe. You know that. Man, I talk about my tribe, which is all you guys all the time. I just am so happy that I've found the people I connect with on my corner of the internet, or on this corner of the internet, and the community that we have, and the comments and the sharing of information. It's just so valuable. Okay, on that note, I feel like I'm just dragging this out right now. I'm gonna head out of here. I am sending you guys lots and lots of sales, sending you the magic fingers, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.